Feel the surge, the current flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town.
I've walked 1,000 bridges before.
Digital thunder, flashing screens, drenched in ultraviolet beams. I am the glitch in your design, breaking through the borderline. Pulse is raising, feel the strain, power surging through the veins. Pulse is racing, broken below, off the system, brought close. Feel the surge, the current flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Feel the surge, the current flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Feel the surge, the current flow, rushing fast, no time to slow, no turning back, no shutting down. We own the streets, we run the town. Run the town. Run the town. Run the town. Skylines burning, coated streams, wide veins pulse with electric dreams. Circuits built to last, engines roaring, tearing past.
class. Hello, hello, hello. How are we all doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to class. How are we all doing today? I do apologize if I seem very low energy. I'm just feeling a lot of fatigueness this week, so I do apologize if my energy is a little low. But welcome in. We won't start class just yet because we're having ads running here, so we'll start class here in a few minutes. But for those of you who have subscriptions, how are we doing today? Sleepy Fish, hi Goob. I know, I don't know why I'm like very I don't know, I'm just very tired. I think I'm just very tired because of like the coldness. It could be also my in case any of you guys don't know, I'm having a little bit of a thyroid concern. My thyroid might become a problem in the future. It probably is going to become a problem in the future because I found out. I was talking to my mom's side of the family, and I guess all the women on my mom's side of the family have thyroid issues. So yay! So it's hereditary. Yay! It passes down. So, and they did say that fatigueness is a side effect of it. So, but it's probably mostly the cold because I'm not quite there yet. I'm like very much borderline with my my thyroid. So, but hi Goob. Wait, Goob, are you subscribed? Are you subscribed to your waifu? Are you subscribed to your waifu? Also, feel free guys, during any streams and any class sessions, you can use 100 channel points to use the TTS bot. So make sure, feel free to use that, ask questions during class. By all means, feel free like during class to interrupt by using that. I can definitely answer. I watch you on YouTube. True. Oh, that is true. Yeah, you have both of them. That is true. Yeah, if you have Twitch and YouTube, you can put them on both. That works pretty conveniently. Yeah, that is true. Either you can subscribe here on Twitch if you feel like you would like to not get hit with ads. Or if you have YouTube Premium, you can also watch me on YouTube's as well. So yeah, feel free to do one or the other. So alrighty, it looks like the ads are finishing up. But welcome back, everybody. Welcome to class. I hope you're all ready to learn about, you know, this amazing topic today, which is about sea cucumbers. I know you guys are very excited. I was actually kind of surprised you want to learn about these guys. So I went in and did a little research on them. We might do some more in-depth stuff down the road. It's more of these kind of are going to cover the basics about the animals, and then if there's particular ones you guys want to learn about, we can definitely deep diver into that kind of stuff. But welcome everybody, welcome one and all. I do apologize, like I said earlier, in case you didn't hear. I am feeling a little fatigued today, so I do apologize. I can't really help that. I've been feeling this way. I've been feeling under the weather all week. So I'm fine. Like physically I'm fine. I don't know. It's either the coldness that's affecting me or it's my thyroid. So but anyways, let's jump into it. Are we all ready to learn today? Also, hi Matt Dog, welcome in. Are we all ready to study, class? Are you ready? Because we're going to learn about the wonderful world of the sea cucumber. So, in case any of you are wondering, well, what in the world is a sea cucumber? So sea cucumbers are part of the ectoderms, which is the phylum of the ectodermata. So this is the different kinds of stages. I don't know if you guys know, in the biology world, we like to categorize things to make it easier to kind of understand, what they are, what they are similar to, that kind of stuff. So we like to categorize them. So they are part of the ectoderms, which is the phylum Ectodermata. Phylum is just another classification. So there's different kinds of classifications. I'm more than happy to do a lecture on the classifications down the road. But it's pretty much, we like to categorize things. So as a way, so ectoderms include starfish, sea urchins, sand dollars, brittle stars, sea lilies, and of course sea cucumbers. So, and there's all of these. They're all part of the ectoderms family. So their bodies, why do they get the name sea cucumber? Well, they look like a cucumber. So, pretty straightforward with that. They also have small little tentacle-like tube feet that are used for locomotion and feeding. So this is kind of their way to be able to figure out, locomotion is kind of their way of being able to kind of look and see what is around them. It's kind of like their eyes in a sense, where they can sense everything around them, figure out where they're located, all that good stuff. So the little tube feet, there are these little suction cup looking things on the bottom of them. You can see kind of, maybe here it's a little hard to see, but they have these little suction cup like feet. And that's helped them, to grasp on things and to climb up stuff and all that good stuff. So, and then, well, believe it or not, there are actually different types of sea cucumbers out there. Believe it or not, there are quite a few varieties. There's many shapes and sizes and forms of the sea cucumber. So we have the first one, which is a sandfish. So these guys are very more for food sake. So they're really a delicacy. So a lot of people do like to eat sea cucumbers. So these ones in particular, they are the ones that you find in a lot of aquaculture to raise for, cuisine. So to serve them to be eaten. So there's that one. And then we have the California sea cucumber. So this one's just very large and spiky, and you can find it on the northeastern or the northeast Pacific. There's the orange sea cucumber. It's very common in the Pacific, and what's really cool about it is the name is obvious. It's very bright in color, so it's a very bright orange color, and also it has a filter feeding habits as well. So it actually filter feeds, which is very, very fascinating. Up next, we have the black sea cucumber. So these you can find in the Indo-Pacific, and they're also found mostly in shallow waters, and they're black in color, hence the name. Leopard sea cucumber, obviously, they look very much like, leopards. They are very easy to tell because of their spots on their bodies. Next, we have the sea apple. So this is I can show you guys pictures afterwards. They're very colorful. They're very pretty. And a lot of people, believe it or not, a lot of, enthusiastic people who like to have aquariums usually will have these guys in their aquariums because of the fact that they're just very, very pretty. And then we have the amberfish, which is known to be very heavy. So it's a very heavy boy. And then we have the synapt maculata, and this is recognized as one of the largest and thinnest worm-like species. So, and it's absolutely terrifying looking. So there's kind of a little brief summary of each, and then to kind of show you the pictures so you can kind of see what they look like. So you have here the sandfish one. So this is the one that people like to eat. This is what they serve, people. And believe it or not, it's very much a delicacy in a lot of countries, which is fascinating. Then you have the California. So you can see it looks very different from the sandfish. It's very bright in color, as well as it's got a lot of spikes here. So you can see those spikes. So this color and the spikes kind of make it like a lot of animals not want to eat it, because usually bright colors like red, yellow, orange, that's usually a sign of danger. So this is kind of their way of making it very, very dangerous. And, you know, the spikes, like nothing wants to touch something that's spiky. No one wants to eat that because it would hurt. Then you have the orange, and as it mentioned, it's unique filter feeding. So as you can see here, it's got these little tentacle like things sticking out of it. And this is actually how it filter feeds. So it has these little almost like plant like, you know, body parts that stick out. And when something goes across, like a little phytoplankton, it grabs it and then it will suck it into its mouth, which is fascinating. So, and it also filters the water too. So it just sucks in the water and it sucks everything that's in that water as well. And then you can see the black one, you know, it's just a black boy. It looks, you know, they all look like weird turds. And then here's the leopard. So you can see like on here, these little spots on it that look almost kind of like eyes, right? They look kind of eye-likes. But that's why it's called the leopard, because it looks, you know, like spots on a leopard. So minus the eye-looking parts, but, you know, it's pretty similar. And then here's that sea apple I mentioned. So as you can tell, it's very pretty. A lot of people like these in their aquariums. They're very cute. They kind of just like, you know, chill. And they're bright in colors, and they're plump, and they're just cute, and you just want to squeeze them and go, oh my god, it's so fluffy, I'm gonna die, because it's so plump and cute. Then we have the amberfish. So there's this guy. As you can tell, it looks more, it's almost like slug-like. It looks kind of more slug than a round shape. It's kind of got this like flat edge here, like it's very box shaped, right? And then it's got kind of a more like flat bottom, like a snail, which is interesting. I always thought that was really cool looking at it. I was like, oh, that kind of looks very different from like your typical sea cucumber. And then, of course, we have, you know, the synapta. As you can tell, like I said, stuff of nightmares right there. And you can see it's very long and thin compared to the others. So, you know, very interesting. Torturing stitches with sea critters. Yeah, he deserves punishment. I've added him to class, you know. So, but yeah, I don't want to eat the funky wiggles. I've heard they're pretty good. So I've never had it myself, but if I ever had a chance to be able to, I would. I think I would. It sounds, you know, I'm going to try it. You know, I say don't knock it till you try it, you know? So I'll give it a chance. They are very weird, but hey, you know what? I'll give it a chance. Why not, right? All right. So as we mentioned, so there are the different types of sea cucumbers, but did you guys know that they also have classifications? And they are grouped even further. So it's grouped into like based on their tentacles and their body structure. So as you can tell, there's 3 different groups here. So we have the Apodia, which lack tube feet, often worm-like. So they look like big worms, pretty much the best way. You're not going to see tube feet on them. They are very lackluster on that. Also, hi Mecca, welcome in. Up next, we have the Expedocryotida. God, I butchered that probably, but you know what? We're going to go with it. The most common of the group. So this is the one that, you know, often used for food. So, you know, that is our good sandfish, you know, friend. He is probably a part of this group. And then finally, we have the Dendrochirotida. And this is the ones that are specialized filter feeders with those branched tentacles. So we can say, like, for sure, like, this one is going to be part of the second category here, the Espedo. And then our orange sea cucumber is going to be part of the Dendro. And then the Apolia is going to be most likely this one here, the black one, if I am seeing that correctly. I didn't see tube feet on it, and I think it's a part of the Apodia. So So you can kind of figure out which is which is very, very fascinating. So that's how you can classify them into their 3 groups as well. So there you go. So where can you find sea cucumbers, right? Where are they located? So the cool thing about sea cucumbers is you can pretty much find them anywhere, really, in the world. They are very versatile. They are found very much anywhere in the world. You know, they live along the ocean floor, which is known as the benthic zone, which is the sea floor. And they go along their lives down there and just live along the floors. So they can be up in the very shallow coastal waters all the way down into the deep sea. So they can be found anywhere. You can, you know, see where your eyes are. And what's really, really cool, I actually didn't know about this, but their larvae, so when they reproduce, their larvae are actually very much the size of a plankton. So they are very planktonic. So what happens is, what this means is that in the first few, like, years of their life, when they're in that planktonic stage, they actually live in the water column and just float along the ocean currents. So they're kind of just spread out throughout the ocean randomly, which is really, really cool. And eventually they settle down as well, which is fascinating. And then, as we're talking about it, what do these guys eat? Like, what is their food source, right? So sea cucumbers, they are known as scavengers. So they will actually go across the bottom of the seafloor, that benthic zone, as I mentioned, and they will eat any little food items that are on the bottom of the ocean seafloor. And then there are also, they can eat plankton as well. In the water column, so like those filter feeder ones, they can definitely eat the plankton outside, floating above in the water column. They'll also eat, algae, aquatic invertebrates, and waste particles as well. So they will eat anything that they can get their little hands on. So they will eat it all up, and then they will also eat with their tube feet that surrounds their mouth. So as I mentioned, so those that have tube feet, they will suck onto the food item, and then they will draw that food item through their mouth. So their little feet are also like hands for them, so they can eat their food, which is really, really fascinating. So the thing about sea cucumbers is they do technically, when they're eating, going for those food particles and waste particles and all that is in the sand, it's going to be really hard to pick out of sand, right? Because sand is a very, very fine, a fine rock, a very fine substance. And that would be really hard. It's like, imagine trying to find the needle in the haystack, right? Type of thing. So instead of that, they just eat the sand. So they'll actually filter the sand and digest the sand, which is fascinating. And we'll get into more detail about that. So kind of their life history. So sea cucumbers will exhibit sexual and asexual reproduction. So these guys can either, meet a mate and, have, release the eggs and sperm out into the water column. So that's pretty much how that works. But they have to be in a close proximity, and they have to be together at the same time for this to happen. And then, of course, they can, asexually reproduce. So this is, where they don't need a male or a female partner. Well, mostly the females actually don't need it. Males don't need, actually males can't reproduce, but yeah, so they don't need a partner at all. And they can just fertilize their own eggs and release them, or they don't even need the eggs at that point. They can just reproduce them, which is fascinating. And then these guys can live to about roughly 5 to 10 years. So that is their lifespan, is 5 to 10 years. So they don't live very long. They come into this world, and then, 5 to 10 years, that's all it takes. Also, hi, Dairy Delivery. Thank you. Welcome in. So yeah, they live very, very, very short lives. So that's kind of a little bit of theirs. So people are wondering, well, this is great and all, right? Like, I'm so ecstatic that, we're learning about sea cucumbers, but like what's their importance? Like why should we care about these, right? Like they just look like turds of the sea. Well, these guys actually do play a super, super critical and vital role in our ocean's health. So, as I mentioned earlier, that when they're, going through and picking off, all the debris on the bottom of the seafloor. So, eating that waste product, algae, any dead bits of, fish or food or anything of that sort. So these guys are like the Roombas or the earthworms of the seafloor. So they actually will eat the sand. And when they are digesting that sand, they don't digest the sand itself. The sand goes through their bodies and eventually they'll actually poop out the sand. So they take everything else in from the sand. So all the nutrients that was in that sand. And when they poop out the sand's actually very sterilized. It's very, very clean. So they actually help keep the sand very clean. So that's why the ocean, like if you've ever noticed, like the sand looks really, really pretty and it's clean. This is why. Not only do they do that, they also prevent like sediment buildup. They also help promote like healthy seagrass beds, just like how earthworms help with any plants and goblins and stuff. They also help seagrass beds. So they help kind of churn that soil and make it healthy again. And then they also release ammonia. Ammonia is really, really deadly and toxic to sea life. So that, releasing that ammonia can help corals actually grow too. So very, very fascinating stuff. So you can see here, they actually do play a very, very important role. So if you ever see, the sand looking like that, that is actually sea cucumber poop. But it's okay. It's just literally, it's clean, pure, it's sterilized sand. Like, it's super clean. So, like, you do not have to worry. It's just clean sand. So, these guys play a very, very important role. So, if you see a lot of them out there in the ocean, that is a good sign. It means our ocean, that part of the ocean is healthy right now, which is great. They're getting revenge for Anakin by eating his worst fear. Exactly. But yeah, so these guys are pretty much the earthworms of the ocean. So that's poop I can play with? Yes! Yes, you can, Omega! You can. Also, hi, Mega. Welcome in. This is what Fridays is about, Caramel? Yes. We learn. So a really cool thing about sea cucumbers. This is my fun fact about these guys, right? So sea cucumbers, believe it or not, do get preyed on. So they do have predators. So there are like crustaceans, such as like crabs. There's, sea turtles, believe it or not, sea stars, and a variety of fish species and certain predatory snails, pearlfish, and bumblebee shrimp. These are all the types of predators that are around them. So, they got quite a few things that like to eat them, right? So because of that, they have to come up with a way to defend themselves. But as you can tell, they're, they don't got much to them, right? And you're probably wondering, well, how do they do this? And they have a very fascinating and gross way of defending themselves. So it's called evisceration. So what they do is they pretty much puke up their internal organs, like their intestines and stuff, and they just spit it out. So this is actually all their like internal organs. And what happens is it's really sticky. Sometimes it can be very toxic too. And because of that, it can deter predators from wanting to eat. And you're like, okay, like that's really gross. And then you're wondering, and you're like, okay, so if you puke up all your organs, then how are you supposed to survive, right? Like imagine us just puking up our organs, right? We couldn't live without it. But the craziest part about it is that these guys can actually survive that because their organs and intestines and stuff all regenerate like within weeks. It's fascinating. Like these guys just puke up their guts and they can just walk away without their guts for a few weeks. And then they just regrow them. And then they're good. Like it's crazy that they can just puke it up and then walk away. So I thought this was a very, very fascinating thing about the sea cucumber because these guys are just fascinating, you know, fascinating stuff as well. So you can see here, here's a little like a diagram of one. So here's the tentacles. So do you guys remember which group it would be a part of? Here, I'll bring it back. So the ones with the tentacles. So do you guys, out of the 3 groups, which category would they be in? Would they be in the Apodia, the Chirotide, I can't pronounce it, or the Dendro? Which one would they be in? I'll let you guys guess. Which one would that be in? It's got tentacles. Dendro. Yes, correct. Yes. It would be in the Dendro. Yes, correct. The Dendro. Yes. So as you can tell, that one is part of the Dendro category. And then here's kind of just the little anatomy. So here's the little tube feet on it right here. You can see they actually have retractor muscles too. There's the pharynx right here. Fascinating. They have a little ring canal. Here's the stomach. They have a stomach and everything. They got intestines, and these intestines absorb all the nutrients. All of the nutrients. And then here's the gonads. It's also inside. And then they got these little ampullae right around here. All of that. You can kind of see they got a cloaca. Now, does anyone in class know what a cloaca is? And it's really fascinating if you know what it is. Does anyone in class know what a cloaca is? There's a few animals like birds and I believe reptiles that have it too, which they do. Like a vag and a poop hole in one? Yes! So it's pretty much all of everything. So it's the sexual and reproductive and also for pooping and all that stuff. So it's pretty much like a 2-in-1 kind of package. But they also have a butt too. So they have an anus as well, which is very interesting to see that they have a cloaca and an anus, right? Very fascinating. There's not a lot of critters that have both of those. And then we have the respiratory tree. So this is how they breathe. So you can see it goes all along their body. So they absorb a lot of oxygen out of the water. Also, hi, Yims. Welcome in. But yeah, here's those intestines I managed to, tell you about. Also, I will be right back, class. I actually am getting a call from my father. So I will be right back real quick. All right, sorry about that. The Papa Narwhal had a question for me. He says hello, by the way. He tells you hello. So, but yeah, here is, the fun little fact about them. Unfortunately, there's not much else about sea cucumbers other than the fact are they threatened or endangered, right? They are not. So they are actually fine, which is good. But that does not mean that there's no threat to them, right? Just because they are not on the endangered or the threatened list, or the acts, so like the Endangered Species Acts or consider threatened or anything like that, doesn't mean that they are not on the decline as well. So unfortunately, because they are considered a huge delicacy and all that kind of stuff, they do get overfished. So that is a problem. So they do end up overfishing them, and they take about, like, they've caused their populations in some areas to drop like 90%, which is not good. That is a huge chunk of sea cucumbers that are being taken out of the ocean. And not only that, unfortunately, there are illegal fishing methods that are being used by fishermen, which is unfortunate that they shouldn't be doing. So, for instance, there are compressors. So, this is to pretty much forcibly collect sea cucumbers from their area. And not only do they forcefully take them, it actually leaves destruction. So it destroys the habitat of that area, which can, as we learned from prior classes, any sort of destruction to a habitat or loss of habitat can cause a huge, loss of life in there. They should be jailed if they're caught with them. They usually are. There's a lot of places that do take this stuff very seriously, but there is also a lot of places that, so like, for instance, here's a great example, right? So sharks. So there is a huge, ban on fishing sharks for just their fins. We can definitely talk about sharks and shark finning and, the horrific things about shark finning. But there is, a lot of places that do have, rules put in place. However, though, there are unfortunately, they're, even though they have these laws and rules in place, because shark fins in certain, especially in West or in Eastern cultures, so like a lot of Asian cultures, they do, however, have a lot of profit to them. And because of that, a lot of these poachers, because they're making such a good profit, they actually pay off the governments in certain countries that will actually like turn a blind eye to them doing it illegally. So that is an unfortunate thing that does happen. That is just the reality of things. And even if you want to try to stop it, they actually will. Believe it or not, there's a whole video about a guy who was helping a government catch poachers of, who were doing shark finning operations. And eventually he actually was told that he was going to be under arrest for going after them. And so he was a wanted man in these areas that were trying to stop shark finning because they got paid to turn a blind eye to it. So unfortunately, money does talk, which is unfortunate. So that is something that does happen more often or not. So, and then there you go. That's my quick little lecture. So that's all the stuff that, for on the PowerPoint. But I do, however, have some videos to share with you guys, some fun facts that you can watch. So I wanted to show you some educational stuff as well. So let me get that set up here. And while we're at it, do any of you guys have any questions so far about any of the stuff in the PowerPoint? Let me pull it up here. Now you've been real informative. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me find the video here. I thought I had it up, but then I had to change it out, chat. Okay. Oh God. Oh god. Okay, don't start yet. Okay. Yes, though the 3-piece meal at KFC will give you a better value than leftovers alone. Is the 1-piece real? I don't know. I believe it is. I believe it is. I mean, Whitebeard did say the 1-piece is real. So, all right, chat. Get ready to be informed.
This episode is sponsored by Brilliant. Learn to think. This charming little fellow is
Oh yeah. Also, if you can't act like an adult, then don't watch this video. Apparently.
Echinoderm in the class Holothoroidea. Holothoroids are often referred to as sea cucumbers because some of them look like cucumbers of the pickling variety. But in case you're wondering, it's not that simple. You can't just name things what they look like. Sea turd, right? That wouldn't be appropriate. There's rules to it. Fat dumpfish, ocean loaf. Those wouldn't fly either. They're not named things like demon feces or zombie pug with a weird baby face on it. It's cucumbers, all right? Have some respect. Anyway, let's back up.
Okay, listen. Demon turd is a fine name, okay? All right, Liz gets detention for laughing in class. Listen, you're allowed to laugh at stuff when you hear demon turd, okay? I love that name.
Right before the beginning.
All right.
It is spawning season, and male sea cucumbers begin by arching their bodies upwards into what is known as the cobra position.
So
Slowly
cute.
at first,
Yeah.
the males release sperm into the water from a small hole called a gonopore. Jerry, I told you I don't want that shrimp in the shot. See? What did I tell you? It's wearing the ejaculate like it's a housecoat. It's eating
God.
it? Well, that's even worse, Jerry. Look at that one. He's shoveling it right in, isn't he? I mean, I guess from the shrimp's perspective, this is pretty exciting. It's like being on a splash pad where nacho cheese comes out the holes. What, Jerry? Why not sperm? Why didn't I say a splash pad where sperm comes out the holes? Well, Jerry, that wouldn't be an analogy. That's basically what's happening. They probably have that in Vegas. Sorry, we're getting distracted. Downstream from the males, the females catch the drift. Literally. You know, Marjorie, there's a little something on your cheek. Let me get it for you. Oop, Marjorie, I think it's time we release our eggs. And that's what they do. They release their eggs, and then there's sperm and eggs floating around together. It's like an orgy for introverts. No need to interact. Anyway, when a sperm and egg cell meet, they fuse, and then they develop.
Damn, they having an orgy down in the oceans? God damn. I'm just saying. Hey, yo. Got a little on her cheek, though.
Divide and grow and eventually become a sea cucumber larva. Now, in Latin, they know how to give a name. In this first stage, they're called auricularia, or little ear. It swims around and eats until it becomes a doliolaria, or little barrel. This is when it navigates to the seafloor and goes through a metamorphosis. On one side of its body, this little ring thing develops with tubes coming off of it. This will become a water pump system that will power their tentacles and their feet. After some rearranging, it emerges as a
So he mentioned something that's really cool, right? So how, so this is it's like a hydro, it's like a hydro system, which is so fascinating. So not only do sea cucumbers contain this, but also like sea stars and stuff. So as he mentioned, for starfish to move, or for these guys to move, they actually have this little structure in them that helps shoot water out. So it's like literally, if you've seen those boards that have like the little boards that shoots water from out and it lifts you up and you can like move on top of the water like you're flying in the air, that's kind of similar to what these guys are doing. They literally shoot water so hard out that it allows them to kind of just like float a little bit and glide, which is so fascinating. I thought that was a really cool fact. So it allows them to shoot water out. So that's how they can lift up and kind of move across the water, which is very fascinating. So I'm just reminded of a Marine I knew in class who, upon learning how much reproductive fluids in the ocean, there's like 40 million gallons of whale jizz. Yes. Yeah, that is something. But yeah, they use like a I forget the terminology. I think he mentioned it in this. But yeah, so they shoot water out of the tube feet area to kind of allow them to be lifted off the ground just slightly, not like fully off the ground, but just enough that they can kind of just move across, which is super fascinating.
Pactula, or five-tentacled thing. And that's the thing about studying Latin. You'd think it'd be all about toga parties and orgies, but then you find out the only people that use it are the science hippies. I mean, sure, they throw a good orgy, but when it's done, good luck finding your Birkenstocks in that pile. Anyway, most sea cucumber babies go through this whole process out there in the water alone. However, Synaptula hydriformis does it different. It broods its babies inside of its body, and when they're ready, they pop right out of its butt. These juveniles are tiny, but they...
So as she mentioned, this type of sea cucumber, what they do is they actually have them internally versus as we saw with the first mating reproductive was they just, release their sperm and eggs into the water, right? But this type of sea cucumber actually has them internally and then, just pops them out, of their butt, It's very fascinating.
Have all the sea cucumbery bits they need to start cucumbering. Their body plan is arranged in a circle like their cousins the sea stars. Here, take a sea star, put a pin in it, and blow it up like a ball. Now you basically have a sea urchin. Flip that on its side and stretch it out into a tube and you have the basic body plan of a sea cucumber. Kind of easy to see in this one, but in other species it can be more difficult. I mean, come on, that looks like a sneeze that tried to put itself back together. Now, around 470 million years ago, sea cucumbers went full mush and lost most of their hard bits. They still technically have an internal skeleton, but it's a bit of a stretch if you ask me. They're little pieces that are sort of spread out through the body. Looks a little like alphabet soup for sadists. They might not look like much, but they are attachment points for collagen fibers and give structure to the body. What's more is sometimes these little anchor shapes stick out and provide grippage as they move about. Their mouth holes and their tentacles are supported by another hard bit called a calcareous ring. To move, the sea cucumber uses three systems that often work together. First, a series of tubes and canals are powered by water pressure. Second, muscle fibers run up the length of the body.
Water
and
pressure,
third, they have a
baby.
special kind of collagen under nervous control that can change between stiff and floppy. Jerry, that's a rock. Oh, that's better. In this shot, you can see that fat stiffy really filling up the palm of that man's hand. But within minutes, it can become completely limp. Imagine that. I mean, you could play with one of those for hours. With all this specialized equipment, sea cucumbers have figured out a number of ways to move about. Deep-sea scotoplanes mainly use their water-powered tubed feet, which are equipped with a special adhesive that can attach to the ocean floor and then detach. Not the fastest animal, but I mean, it's really f***ing slow, isn't it? However, if you speed things up a bit, it certainly seems like they know where they're going, and they're wondering why everything's moving so friggin' fast. Many species combine the use of their grabby tubed feet with a wave-like compression and expansion of their bodies. Some species don't even have tubed feet, but they can crawl around in a way that looks just like how vomiting feels. Now, some of them have really gotten the hang of it and can put on a bit of speed. Look at this one. He looks like a happy puppy. Of course, the real show-offs
He
put it
does
all
look like
together
a
and
happy
figured out how to
puppy.
swim. Look at
He
that.
does.
Takes right off and then slowly undulates like a it's trying to suck itself. Many species have adaptations that help them swim or float in the current. We'll get to those in a moment, right after a brief message about our sponsor.
Welcome in.
Brilliant is
But yeah, so they have different types of movements. So they don't just like slowly move across the bottom. There's also a lot of a lot of different types of movements. So some of them, as you saw, can actually swim. It does take a lot of energy though to do that. And then you saw that other one that he mentioned that looks like it's puking. So they're kind of like using their whole body to kind of clench up, and that's like it's almost similar to what snakes do in a sense. Snakes luckily don't like clench that tight. They use kind of a different way, but they use their muscles to kind of do this like wave motion. So that's how they're able to move without tube feet. Tube feet are definitely helpful for sure, but yeah. I didn't know they weren't just long blobs that spill their guts when thrown. And yeah, there's a lot of really cool facts about these guys. There's a lot of fascinating things. There's different categories. So there's the 3 different categories that we mentioned, and then there's the like 8 or 9 different types of sea cucumbers out there, right? So they come in different varieties, shapes, forms, sizes, like you name it, right? Which is fascinating about these guys. So That's why, you know, this is why we got to protect them. They're
Many
very
sea
fascinating.
cucumbers have special
right, narrator,
adaptations
take
for
it away.
swimming or floating. Some have skirts that look like an umbrella doing the breaststroke. There's this one. Apparently that thing in the back is some sort of a sail. Whole thing looks like an amputated clown foot. What do you think's inside those clown shoes? Some use their oral tentacles to sort of pull themselves along. Ice cream scoops? Oh crap, you know what that is. Every once in a while, Satan releases a murder chicken. Let me tell you, if that thing gets up to the surface, we're all f***ed. Murder chicken. Most species only swim for a short period of time to avoid a predator or maybe have a change in scenery. However, sea cucumbers in the genus Pelagathoria decided to go full jellyfish. They spend their entire lives floating in the water. They are suspension feeders and use their tentacles to do the aquatic equivalent of licking air. It's not that
Isn't
easy
that
to see with this one, but there are
fascinating?
other suspension-feeding sea cucumbers that live on the sea floor. Rebecca,
Yeah.
don't be shy now. Oh, there you are. Rebecca is in the genus Neothionidium, and she has fabulous tentacles. Sea cucumber tentacles are actually highly modified tubed feet, and they are powered by water pressure. Here is Rebecca's friend Duke, who is in the genus Pseudocalachyrus and is also a suspension feeder. Look at his little feet holding on. Those shaggy little split ends
Do you
at the
remember
tips
what
of the
this
tentacles.
was called, guys? Do you remember what the not the scientific name, but what do we remember what it's called? Damn for free too. Yeah, we got to see those little tube feet. Do you guys remember what this one was called? It was one of the sea cucumbers we mentioned, right? A lot of aquariums like to have these. Does anyone remember the common name for it? I'll give you a hint. It was named after a fruit. It's a sea what fruit? A sea. Yeah, the sea apple.
They're covered in
I
a
got here late.
mucus-like
No worries,
substance.
Goblin.
Waving them in the water traps algae and
So
tiny
you can see.
invertebrates.
So you see. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit. So right here. So what's going on is these tentacles that are released. So when it gets that, remember how I mentioned how it catches those little phytoplankton and stuff? So it'll bring those tentacles into its mouth and put the tentacle in its mouth and suck up all the little phytoplankton. So that's what you're seeing right here that it's doing.
Waving
so
them in the
it-
water traps algae
So there
and
goes
tiny
putting
invertebrates,
another
along
one
with some
into
other
its
crap,
mouth.
like actual crap. You see, there are no toilets in the ocean, except one, the ocean. So there's that, and then when a fish dies, or a whale, there's no place to flush it. So at the bottom of the ocean, there is a gentle rain made of shit and rotting flesh. And that's what sea cucumbers eat. I mean, that's a niche right there. It's a niche you get when you show up late to when they were handing out niches. So what do we have left here? There's live inside volcano and eat all the ocean's shit. But credit to them, the sea cucumbers really took that job and ran with it. The ones that crawl around basically just eat the floor. It's like if
Yep.
your carpet was covered in Cheetos crumbs and you walked around in your hands and then licked your fingers. I mean, they're like a Roomba. If Roombas took giant shits on your carpet, because that's what happens. If it goes in one side, it's got to come out the other. And listen, if you see through, it's embarrassing having a full load. And it turns out they're doing something pretty important. The
Yeah,
science
some of them
hippies call
are
it nutrient
see-through.
cycling, essentially processing the waste and pooping it out in a form that other things can eat. It's not what I'd want to be known for, but it's not nothing. And it's like my mother used to say, you find me a grain of sand that hasn't been through the ass of a sea cucumber. Good luck with that. And while we're on the subject, let me tell you, this is no ordinary run-of-the-mill anus. It is a cloaca, sort of an ass plus, a hole for every season. You know what it's doing right there? It's breathing out its butt, because that back hole also connects to something called a respiratory.
Yes. So this is something I didn't mention because I wanted him to describe it to you guys, right? So yeah, you're probably wondering, well, how do they breathe, right? Because their gills, if you remember how I showed you that graph of how their gills, their respiratory system is inside their bodies. So yeah, they actually breathe from their butt. Their butthole is how they breathe, guys. They breathe from their butthole, chat. There you go. If any fact you should know is if you do not remember a single thing from today's class, remember this one fact that that sea cucumbers breathe from their butthole because their respiratory, so like their gills in a sense, those are inside them. So the butt is closer to where those are. So that's why they breathe from their butt, because it's right down in there.
Story tree. Here, let's have a look inside. Oh, me,
Yeah.
that looks like a plate of design.
So you can see here. So this is what one cut up looks like, right? So this right here is, I believe, the little tree thing that he was talking about. This is their kind of like their gills.
Zombie buffet. Well, the respiratory tree is right around here. It's
Oh, never
analogous to
mind.
our lungs.
I was like, wait, no, that looks like, no, it's over here. I can't remember. It's been a while. I can't believe I got that wrong. So this is their intestines, I believe. So it's like over yonder. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like the little tree stuff right here. So it's along here. You can kind of see.
Water
you
is
saw their
drawn into the
butthole.
respiratory tree, and that's how sea cucumbers get
Fantastic
oxygen. Some
teaching.
species
Thank
also
you.
seem to get nutrients through that tree, and sometimes that cloaca can look
My
like it's
brain
staring
right now,
at you,
I'm
right into your soul. But let me
very
tell you, if they
out of it
decide to
today.
exhale quickly and you're on the business end, you'll feel it. It's how they lift off when they want to swim. And watch this, drop some ballast right out the same hole. Pew! Now the problem with packing an awesome hole like that is that there's going to be folks snooping around trying to get a look-see. I know you know about the pearlfish. Everyone knows about the pearlfish. Shameless
Oh.
self-promoter. But no one's talking about
Oh,
the crab.
yeah.
I'd much rather have the fish than the crab. It's more
Yeah.
a contoured fit. I mean, that looks like it did tickle. And then there's an even tinier crab.
Some like to live in their butthole as well. It's yeah. There are the pearlfish and crabs do sometimes like to have a symbiotic relationship with the sea cucumber where they have a place where they can hide away and don't yuck someone else's yum. Yeah, so they like to hide in there because it's protection for them, right?
Crab that lives in their respiratory tree. No wonder that some sea
Yeah,
cucumbers have
and then
evolved
there's
anal
a
teeth.
type of crab
Try
that lives
bringing
in their
those to a dentist.
respiratory.
Gotta pay extra. But you can't really blame the fish and the crabs and the nudibranchs. Apparently, the body of a sea cucumber is a nice place to live. Nope,
Yep.
no, Jerry. We've seen quite enough of that filthy shrimp. Oh, look, that snail's trying to have a ride on that sea cucumber. What's that? Oh, it's trying to eat it. Oh, that's terrifying. The flesh of sea
Yep.
cucumbers has toxins in it, which make it unappetizing for many predators. But apparently, the ton snail is not one of them. Even if you taste like crap, it's dangerous down there. You want to see how dangerous?
sea
Look at
cucumber.
this. These science hippies made clay models of a sea cucumber. Apparently, that's what you do with a PhD. And look at them. Don't have to do much to model a sea
True.
cucumber, do you? Anyway, they put these turdlets in the water and look at all those bite marks. It's not safe. They need some good defense. Some of them went straight for the obvious. Shoot streamers out your ass. Sea cucumbers in the family Holothuriidae have these tubules inside their body attached to their breathing apparatus. When they're stressed, they clench real hard and burst the inside lining of their butt or cloaca. When they do that, their body fluid sort of rushes out the backside and the tubes go with it. Then they force water from their butt lungs into the tubes, which causes them to elongate. Now, this has a couple of benefits. Here, I know what you're thinking. What's that old hippie doing in the ocean? Well, the joke's on you. That's a sea cucumber in disguise. Aside from the camouflage, these tubules get very sticky on contact. And that's not
Yep.
easy to do. You try making a glue that's sticky underwater. Anyways, it makes a big f***ing mess and can tangle up a predator, like this crab that doesn't know what personal boundaries are. And on top of that, the tubules are toxic. And the sea cucumber can
Yep.
crawl away from all this because the tubes detach, and they grow back too. And you know that ton snail that was eating the sea cucumber? Well, now it's a ton snail covered in silly string eating a sea cucumber. Take that, you astropod. But sea cucumbers have another sleeve up their butt. When threatened, sea cucumbers can go through a process called evisceration. That special
Yep.
collagen they have goes soft in certain places on their insides. This allows sea cucumbers to rupture and expel their intestines and other organs, out the back or the front, depending on the species. Aside from being disgusting, it gives the predators something to chew on. And you know what? Sometimes sea cucumbers eviscerate just for the hell of it, to clean out the pipes, because they can grow all that back in a couple months. Must feel good
Isn't
to have
that
fresh
crazy?
insides. Like changing your underwear. And check this out. The digestive tract grows back from each
That the fact that he's just like, yeah, they could just do it just to like get new organs if they want to. Like just literally gets rid of all their organs and they're like, yeah, it's time for some new ones. I'm ready. Like, they can just do that. No worries.
Jen meets in the middle. I'm sure they're happy to see each other. Hello, mouthhole. Hello, and that is how the sea cucumber do. Helen, I know you're in there. Helen, what are you doing inside of Frederick's anus? Well, did you ask Frederick if he wanted someone in his anus? Well, you should do. Maybe Frederick gets a turn in your anus next. See how you like it. Your little fish eyes would pop right out. You've been eating his gonads, haven't you, Helen?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, don't apologize to me. Apologize to Frederick and his anus.
But yeah, so there you guys go. So there's the wonderful facts about sea cucumbers. Can I expel my liver and grow a new one? Unfortunately, no, we can't do that. I wish I could too, Jads, because I was just mentioning how I'm having my thyroid is probably going to shit the bed here in the next few years because genetics. I wonder what record is for the most expulsions. Oh, that's a good question. I actually don't know. I don't know how many they have in their lifetime on average. That's a good question, actually. Let me Google that real quick here. Hey. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions so far about sea cucumbers, like what we learned here? Let's see here. How many times does a sea cucumber in their life? Interesting. Okay, so they have an annual cycle. So they'll just like there's an annual seasonal evisceration cycle between August and October. So they do it like yearly as well. So interesting. Because they can regenerate, they can perform this action throughout their lives, with often lasts 5 to 10 years. So they can do it probably about 5 to 10 times if they aren't 5 to 10 times they'll do it. Interesting. And then of course that's like minus the that's just like a yearly. So they do it once a year as well, which is interesting. Is there a sea cucumber in SpongeBob? Yeah, wasn't what's his face? Wasn't does anyone remember the character from SpongeBob that was like, "Where's the pickles?" You know? I think he's a sea cucumber, if I remember correctly. Good lord, the stamina on them? Yeah. And they just, like, decide to regrow them back when they feel like it. Kevin. Yes, Kevin, I think, is the sea cucumber. What does the cucumber get out of having a crab in its ass? Is it symbiosis or... the crab... Okay, let me double check that one, because it's been so long. I think, if I remember correctly... I think it's symbiotic, but I could be wrong. Oh, wait, no. Oh, God. Hold on. I think it's symbiotic, but I could be... I mean, it does depend too, because there are, I guess the crab, I guess it would depend on the type of crab too, because it could be, some can be, like, some could be parasitic too. So it really does depend. But it's pretty much a yeah, so there's no benefit to the sea cucumber. So it is the common soulism. So what that means is that is where the the one that is the host doesn't benefit from anything, but the fish does benefit from it. So the fish, the pearlman fish or the pearl fish will benefit because it has protection, right? So it has a place to hide and be protected from predators, but the sea cucumber doesn't get anything out of it. So there's no like symbiotic relationship between the two. It is very much just, you know, it's not parasitic, so it's not like killing the host, so it's not killing the sea cucumber. But it doesn't benefit from it. It just is there. Also, good to see you back streaming. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bubble Bass was the one asking for pickles. Oh, Bubble Bass is who I was thinking of. Oh, no, yeah, Kevin. I was thinking of Kevin. I don't know how I got Kevin and Bubble Bass confused. Yeah, it's Kevin. Kevin's the... Oh, he's the one with the jellyfishing. That's what I'm thinking of. And the ads are playing. So, do they get a lot of parasites since they are so sedentary, or are they too toxic? So they do have a lot of predators. So there are predators. As for parasites, yes. So, and it's not just sea cucumbers. The reason why is because if you look at the ocean water, so this is something any aquarist or anyone who does a hobby with fish will tell you, is there's parasites. There's a ton of parasites in water. It's why we have to filter our water out, right? Because of the fact that they are very parasitic. There's a lot of parasites in the water, and what happens and why you don't want to have fish stress out, why you want to make sure the fish never stress out, is because you if they stress out, they will get a parasite or get sick because there's so much stuff in the water. So all you can do is try to prevent a parasite from infecting them. So a lot of animals do have like special coats and stuff. So if you notice, a lot of them are very slimy, like especially on fish. They produce a coat, like a mucus coat, a mucus layer, and that will help prevent like parasites and things like that, diseases and stuff to get into their bodies. And that's why, like, when you stress them out, they don't produce that coat, that special coat, and that's why they get sick. So it's the same with sea cucumbers, is that, yeah, if they can get, you know, they can get a lot of parasites if they're not careful. But usually a lot of creatures out in the ocean do have kind of their own antibiotic, like kind of antibody systems or defense mechanisms that can help them from getting sick, which is nice. Hey, Skillium, do they make a decent sea pickles or sea tussie? No, they don't. You can eat them, but I haven't heard too many good things. But yeah, there are fish, or there are a lot of parasites that they do have to protect themselves from. And usually it's like a special kind of coating on them. Also, hi there, Dip. Welcome in. I like your name. Dip Shittiot. I love that. It's shit and idiot together. Welcome in. Does anyone else have any questions? I wish I could mucus my coat. I know, right? Wouldn't it be nice? But yeah, like a lot of them live in a Wonder Bread. Wonder Bread. Hi, Wonder Bread. So, but also a really cool thing about the sea cucumber too is, if you think about it, so they do produce toxics. So they do produce toxins and stuff. So like their internal organs and stuff are very toxic, and that's what prevents, you know, parasites and stuff from getting. Oh my god, you said cheese. Yeah, and I looked behind me to see if you were there. I'm like paranoid. I just looked them up as food and the plates look disgusting, like a big spiny poo. Yeah, they are a delicacy apparently. Like you can eat them. And the ones that you can eat are the sandfish ones. So, that's like the more common one people eat. But yeah, they do. So they defend from parasites using toxins versus a mucus coating like fish and stuff. So, which makes sense. But any other questions, guys? White bread, cheese, white bread. I can't eat white bread anymore, guys. I can't do that. White bread is actually really bad for you. What is their purpose? Oh yeah. Okay, so they play actually a very critical role, Skillium. So let me show you here. Let me actually get us back to the PowerPoint real quick. So let me hide that real quick so I can get back to it. And then I'll pull up the part of the presentation. Because I know you weren't here for that, which is totally fine. Sorry, I was late to class. Hey, no worries, no worries. I appreciate you for coming in anyways. There was not much to talk about him, so I was like, I don't know what to say. So these guys play a super critical role for our oceans because they are like the Roombas of the ocean floor, or if you think of earthworms. So you know how earthworms, like their whole thing is like going through the soil and kind of cleaning it up, making it nice, kind of moving the nutrients around and stuff. That's kind of what the sea cucumber does. So, you know, when whales, fish, things die, there's no place to flush it down a toilet, right? It's gonna go to the ocean's bottom floor, and, you know, algae or, you know, any sort of things that are on the ocean floor, these guys will actually go and they eat the sand, and they eat everything that's in the sand. So food and little, you know, organisms, like anything that's in there that can fit in their little mouths, right? And they actually go through and they digest the sand. They pull all the nutrients out of it. They process the sand, and then at the end they actually poop out the sand. So they poop out the sterilized version of sand. So the sand is actually clean. So they keep our ocean floors nice and clean. So it prevents like sediment buildup. It also helps with, like, if you think of like grass, like with earthworms and stuff, why like earthworms are important for, you know, produce or anything of that. Like, what is an ampullae and where is their butt? Yeah, I can show you that. And cheese? What about cheese? Oh, cheese is fine. So, okay, here's a little graph. So the ampullae are right here. Or the ampullae, I can't remember how you pronounce. Oh god! Get out of here with your cheese, bitch. God, she hit me with cheese. I knew you were gonna hit me with cheese too. So the ampullae are right here. So there are these little organs. There's all across here. So all throughout here on this little graph. It's kind of hard to see. Hold on. Is there an easier way to make this? Actually, let me make it a little bigger on my end. Get cheddar. Get out of here. So, okay. We're gonna increase it real quick. That way you guys can see it. All right. I'm making it bigger for you guys. So yeah, there you go. Now you can see it. I haven't pulled up dissected. Yeah, so here's like a little kind of cartoon. It's all this stuff right here along this like white little, it's hard to show, but it's like this stuff right here. So all of this is what that is. And then their butt is like all the way down here. So they have their head, and then their butt is pretty easy to tell when especially when they're alive. It's a giant hole. It's a big hole. So husband approved cheese. Wow. We'll tell the husband, you know, tell them they suck. Hey, Saitama, welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. So their butt is pretty much the opposite of their face, but you can tell because they have a massive butthole. So, like, look at the size of this thing. It's pretty easy to tell. So they have a very big butt. So, oh, I realized it's off on the side here. You can't see it. It's right here. There you go. But there you go. So now you know where the butthole is. Do they smash Nassies to make baby CQ? So they have like an orgy pretty much as the narrator. So they do have two types of reproduction. So the one that they have is where they have to be in close proximity of one another, but then they will release their eggs and sperm into the water column, and that's how they fertilize. And then there's the ones that can internally have babies. So they have them like, a human does or a mammal does, where they have them inside. And then after a few months, they poop them out of their little butts. And then there they are, they pop out and they're just baby little sea cucumbers and they can move on their own. So there's some that can just, asexual. They have sexual and asexual reproductive stuff. Yes. Endopic and versus ectopic of pregnancy. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Is the baby sea cucumbers called a sea gherkin? A sea gherkin. Look, it's Kevin. Yeah, it's Kevin. They have different stages. So they have different larval stages. Endopic is inside, ectopic is outside. Exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it is. It's true. Hi, Kevin. I'm your biggest fan. That is true. That is true, Saitama. So there is the difference. Oh, that species is a little freak. I love it. I agree. Is the little itty bitty pickles? Yeah. So they have different, like, so when they are first born, they are in a platonic stage of their life. So they're actually like, they act like little plankton, right? Little phytoplankton. And they have like different stages of life. If you have two of them, can you just squeeze them and make babies? Not quite. If you squeeze them, they're gonna do the exact opposite because they're thinking they're getting attacked, and they will actually do evisceration, which is where they just shoot up. They literally vomit all of their internal organs. Like, they just eject them. They just get rid of all their organs, and then they just walk away, and then after like a few months or weeks, they'll regrow them. So, like mixing mayo and ketchup. No, it's not how it works. Not quite. Not quite. You guys have any other questions about these guys? I'm sorry there's not much else about them. There's, there's not a whole lot to learn about them. They're pretty easygoing. They do make good pets. Yes. They are wonderful to have in like aquariums and stuff because they keep the bottom of your tank nice and clean, which is so important. Alrighty, guys. Well, since we're gonna wrap up today's class, we gotta now do the fun part of it, where you guys get to pick what animal you guys want to learn about. Like, what do you want next week's class to be on? What do you guys want to learn about for next week's class? Flatworms? Ooh, flatworms are good. Flatworms are very nice. The thresher sharks. Ooh, sea zucchini. Seagulls. Oh my god. Hammerhead worms. Ooh, okay. So we have a lot here. So we have flatworm, thresher shark, seagull, hammerhead worms. We have blobfish. Okay, so serpent cat or goob, nudibranchs. Okay, seagulls. Oh my god, you guys want me to teach you guys about fucking seagulls? I hate seagulls. I hate them. But I will teach you about seagulls if that's what you want. Which 5? We'll put, okay, so thresher shark we'll put in the shark category. We'll do seagull, shark, hammerhead worms, and nudibranchs, and blobfish. We want to learn about birds in the sea. Oh god, no, those things are mean. I hate seagulls. And the Canadian goose. Oh, they're awful. Awful, awful, awful. I hate them with a burning passion. They suck. They suck. All right, chat. Waiting for the poll. Scallops, clams, mustards, and oysters, and then one about all the crabs. Yeah, we could do crustaceans or mollusk. So we can do all those. Hi, Toxie. Welcome in. Wow, Big Booba. Thanks. I paid a lot of good money for them. At least geese will honk and hiss at you before attacking you. True, true. All right. The poll is up, guys. So pick which one you guys want to learn about for next week. No, there's already 2 for seagull. Oh my god. Can we not? Can we not? I hate seagulls. Oh, come on, guys. Don't pick seagulls. Seagulls are... they're... God. Make sure to vote, chat. Make sure to vote for which animal you would like to learn about for next week. And I will do my topic on that. So, thank you, Toxie, for the follow. How much work do these presentations take you to make? It takes me a couple hours. It's a lot of it is because I remember a lot of it from my back in my day. And then I am planning on making these into videos, and then I will have like my sources and stuff. So you can find a lot of information through wonderful organizations. Like there's so many, like a lot of aquariums, like they have a lot of information about them. Halloween episode should be about the Iron-Lung monster. Oh my god, yes, that's a great idea. Oh my god, we during Halloween we do like horror monsters. You know, like the monsters that you know. We can do like all that stuff. I guess I'll be the only one who voted hammerhead worms. This is gonna have to admit seagulls are important next stream. God, I hate seagulls. Oh my god, why are 5 of you voting for seagulls? Oh my god. What, like, speculative ecology? Yeah! Yeah, like, so a lot of animals like Pokemon are based off of real animals. Like, it would be really fascinating to learn the Iron-Lung monster. Like, what is it based on, you know? Yeah, I've tried saying Iron-Lung monster was stupid. Wow, well, you know what? She's stupid. Okay. 3 of us downstairs who vote. Oh, Wonder Bread's here. Oh. That means I can throw cheese at both of you. Got it. There's an ice cream Pokemon. I don't think that one is an animal. No, obviously, like, some of them are not based on, like, actual animals. But, you know. Wonder Bread. Yes, I know Wonder Bread. What did I do? Well, you allowed your girlfriend to throw cheese at my face, so, you know. Oh, man, is Seagulls really gonna win? Come on, guys, keep voting, keep voting. Oh, my God. Okay. Okay, the reason why I don't want to do seagulls... Okay, so there's this thing, right, chat? I actually have a huge phobia of seagulls. Your husband let me technically... Oh, no, he's getting his ass kicked. So, I have to go put a sea cucumber in the toilet. I'll be back if you're still here. Oh my god. No worries, Skilly. But, so, to kind of let you all know, So I have a huge phobia of seagulls. Like, believe it or not, crazy, right? The marine biologist is afraid of seagulls. So you have ornithophobia. Yeah. So I have a fear of them, and the reason why is because when I was a kid, I was out in the Bahamas at the Atlantis Resort. So if any of you guys know about it, it's really cool, by the way. Very fun resort. And I was eating a grilled cheese, right? And I was eating a grilled cheese sandwich, and I had the crust left, and I was holding it in my hand. And as I was about to go and eat it, the seagulls were mean. They came down, one came down and started attacking me for my sandwich. Like, it like pecked me and like hit its wings and like scratched me with its like webbed feet and stuff. And then it stole it, and then it like, yeah, and then it flew off, and it horrified me. And then after that, like, all these seagulls were trying to like steal our food, so we would have to hold like forks and knives up to like prevent it from, prevent them from like coming and stealing the food from me. Seagulls won. Fuck. Okay, I'll do seagulls. Guys, when are we gonna do the cool stuff like whales or sharks or, like, why are we doing like sea cucumbers and seagulls and like, what the hell, man? So, oh man. Flame chat. I want flatworms. Dude, worms are cool too. That would traumatize me too. Yeah, so ever since then, like, I've been awfully traumatized. Like, when one flies at me, it's just like, I get scared. I enjoyed the sea cucumber. Hey, I'm glad. I do apologize to you. I was very out of it. I don't know what's going on. I am just been exhausted too. I want hagfish. Oh, hagfish are so fucking cool, dude. I remember like some of the information from my days with my professors, especially the dean of the marine biology course that I was in. Our dean of the school that I was in for marine biology, he told us of a story about how you should never stuff an octopus into a bag. And I was like, yeah, like, why would you stuff an octopus into a bag? And he like told us the story of how he found this like really cool octopus while he was down in the water. And they have like underground like bunkers down there, right? So they would dive down, and then they would stay in this little bunker down there while they're exploring and like checking out stuff and all this. And he found this like really cool octopus, and he wanted to take a photo of it, but he didn't have his camera, so he knew it would like not be there when he went to go grab his camera in his bunker. So he thought the great idea of taking this octopus and stuffing it in a bag so that when he got his camera, he could just let it out of the bag and he could take a photo of it. But of course, the octopus is, like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? And eventually, because it was like trying to not go into the bag, and eventually I guess it just got pissed off at him and it just bit the shit out of his hand and he had to go to the hospital. But yeah, you like learn fun stuff like that you just remember from, your college days. But we gotta save the bangers for later. Oh my god. Dude, okay, I guess I'll do a course on seagulls. Oh god, I hate seagulls. Alrighty, well, does anyone else have any questions for me before I head off? Before we end class today? Do any of you have any other questions? Questions, comments? You got other fun stories of people out there in the field? Oh, I have tons. That I can definitely tell you guys. How do the fish swim? Oh my god, are you pulling the how do the fish swim? How do the fish swim? That's what they all ask for Oh my god. Okay. Well, we can do a class when we learn about fish. I can teach you about how fish swim, okay? But yeah, no, I have a ton of fun stories. Like, ridiculous stories that I can tell you. I can't tell them all now, you know. I gotta save them for later, you know. But does anyone have any other questions about sea cucumbers? Any at all? This is going once, going twice, and sold. All right. So, if no one else has any questions, that's why they pay you the big bucks, or they would have had taste. Yeah. I wish I got paid the big bucks, but they don't. Thanks for the book learning. Yeah, of course, no worries. I'm glad I'm able to like teach everyone, you know, the wonderful world of marine biology and the wonderful animals and the critters that live in it, because this is a very important thing to me. And hopefully, like, over the years, or over the times doing this, I can improve and get better at it. You know, teaching you guys, because I definitely don't know how to do this, but we will see. But on that note, we're gonna raid into a good, genuine, awesome, amazing friend of mine named Catterflies. She is, you may have recognized her as what she was known before as Killer Kitty Cat. So we're gonna make sure and go raid into her. So there is the sub raid, and then here is the all right, chat. Well, I'm being attacked by seagulls now, so. All right, everyone. Have a good one and take care. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.